Now, the month of August closes out the summer season, and the box office, of course, has been rather split in the sense that there were some films that certainly did well while others did not, and the first of the films that really did well and succeed, in fact, is a release of August 1st, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which opened to a whopping $94 million, having the highest grossing opening weekend for August of all time, and making over $290 million domestically and $290 million in foreign territories, to take its cumulative total to about $586 million, while it is likely to be the highest grossing film domestically of the year, crossing over $300 million, at least at this point in time. It may suffer competition from the Hunger Games later on, but at this point, it's definitely going to be one of the highest grossing films by the end of the year worldwide, considering the fact that it still has to open in China and Japan. You could easily see this film getting somewhere near $700 million worldwide. And Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the 4 films that has managed to be at number 1 for 4 weekends throughout its run. In fact, its 6th weekend, it was number 1 once again, although in the middle it did suffer due to competition from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which currently has $300 million worldwide after opening to $65 million and making $174 million domestically. It certainly has done well, despite the fact that the critical reception might not be entirely positive. At the same time, it's certainly a success, and that's the reason that a sequel has already been announced. And on the very same weekend of August 8th, we have Into the Storm, which opened to $17 million at number 3, in fact, made $44 million domestically so far, and $110 million worldwide, coming off a $50 million budget. For a film like this that was not well received at all, it is certainly a success. The following weekend, on August 15th, we had The Expendables 3, which opened to $15 million and has worldwide cumulative made $107 million so far. Unfortunately, though, this is without a doubt the lowest grossing film of the franchise so far. Domestically, the highest grossing film of the franchise is the original Expendables with $103 million. The second film made $85, and now the third one is a massive drop-off to $36 million so far. Even worldwide, with just $107 million, it's at least $170 million off the other 2 installments of the franchise. And some might attribute this to the fact that the film was leaked online. While I do think a few $1,000,000 here and there, it might have been lost out because of the fact that it was leaked, on the whole, I just think that people are starting to get fatigued by the overall franchise. Moving on, in the very same weekend, we had The Giver, which had a budget of $25 million, opened at number 5 to $12 million, but despite all that, has made $43 million worldwide so far. I have to say that the film is unorthodox. It might not appeal to a lot of people, but at the same time, it's definitely a good movie, to say the least. In my personal opinion, a lot of people might not have liked it so much. At the same time, for a book adaptation of the sort, you might expect a film like this to do really well, but it's an extremely different kind of film, an extremely different kind of franchise, so it certainly made a profit, and it's certainly doing well on the whole. On the very same weekend, we also had Let's Be Cops, which in fact opened on a Wednesday, but from Friday to Sunday made $17 million on opening weekend. Off a $17 million budget, has made $83 million so far, and could wind up close to $100 million by the end of its run. Most of its money is, of course, domestic earnings, of course, and at the same time, it's a film that, once again, has not been received so well. A lot of films in August have not been received particularly well. Nonetheless, you have some films like this that are relative successes in the sense that, related to their budget, related to their scale, they are certainly doing well. The following weekend, you had If I Stay, opening to $15 million, once again behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, to make $50 million worldwide. Now, this film, it's a drama, and it doesn't necessarily appeal to a large demographic. Nonetheless, relative to an $11 million budget, $50 million is certainly a fantastic number. Moving on the same weekend, a film that really just did not do well is Frank Miller's Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. If you look at the original Sin City, that film did fantastically. This film, unfortunately, opened to about $6 million and has made $22 million worldwide, wherein the original Sin City has made $158 million worldwide. While there's no official confirmation on the budget of Sin City 2, I certainly have to say that without a doubt, it's probably suffering major losses at this point. It's unfortunate, but If you look at it in the grander scheme of things, it's been over 9 years since the original film, and a lot of people haven't necessarily been attached. While there is a small cult of people that enjoyed Sin City and remembered Sin City, on the whole, you can expect a film like this, despite the fact that it's based off a decently successful comic book, to do entirely well, considering the fact that widely it was not received well, and nor was it critically. And finally, on August 29th, we had The November Man, which currently has $17 million domestically. It opened to number 6, in fact, behind films such as Above and So Below. Nonetheless, though, this kind of a film wasn't expected to do particularly well, but by the end of its run, I certainly see it getting north of $50 million, maybe close to $100 million worldwide. It's now time to crown the box office bomb and the box office boss for the month of August. Definitely the box office bomb, unfortunately, has to be Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. It should have done a lot better than it did, and if you look at the cast of that film with people like Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Mickey Rourke, a film like that, if marketed correctly, could have the potential to be one of the highest grossing films of the year, despite the fact that it was rated R. Unfortunately, though, this film really did not appeal or speak to people well enough. The box office boss is undoubtedly Guardians of the Galaxy, on its way to perhaps outgrossing the second Thor film already, and it deserves to have a sequel with the critical and financial success that it is. It's one of my personal favorites of the year so far, and on the summer as a whole, it's hard to pick a particular winner, but Guardians of the Galaxy is certainly a contender, of course relative to the amount that some people expected to gross, including myself. It is without a doubt one of the best successes of the year, not just critically but financially as well.